because Elias, he proposed lots of, I think, quite good topics. So I hope we can cover all of them today. So the next agenda item will be the date. We have a working group called Dataset Working Group. So Elias, I think you are the only person here today, right?
Oh. uh, um, okay.
I don't even know where are the other people, because
uh,
maybe the coronavirus situation drives everyone crazy.
yeah, maybe. Let's just hope that they're doing well. Can we switch it to the next item and get back to it later?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the
Okay,
next
this
item
way I
will be
can
about.
get
Yeah, yeah,
some
sure.
links ready. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. You want to talk about it later? No worries. Okay, then the next item is again about me. So I feel like it's like a monologue. Wait. So wait. I want to switch the slide. Wait a second. So can everyone see my slide? Sorry?
Yes.
Is this
Yes.
the slide you are looking at? This one?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
perfect. So today, I'd like to give like a short presentation of what. Okay, sorry. By the way, I forgot to introduce myself because there are lots. Most of you are new here, so I'm a software, let's say, research engineer at TU Delft, and there's a guy called Gijs. His status is no mic, so he cannot introduce himself. So I will introduce for him. So obviously, not obviously. What I mean is that he's my supervisor, and we are working in the connected robotics lab at TU Delft. So I'm working for European project called AgroBuffo. So that's pretty much about me. So we were working on a really small pilot project like 2 months ago. So because I think
Sorry, can you say the name of the project again? I didn't hear what you said.
the project, the European project. Okay,
Yes.
it's called AgroBuffo.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so that project is not really related to what I'm doing right here. Like the thing I'm going to present today is like let's say it's like a really spontaneous small project that Gijs, my supervisor, came up with, and also we agreed that it would be quite interesting to to work on it. So this project is, I don't even call it a project. Let's say a small task to use joystick to control a vehicle in like a farming simulator 19 with ROS. And you're wondering what is farming simulator 19. So voila. So seems like a video game. Yes, it is. Farming simulator is a video game where you can you can farm, you can grow whatever crops you like, you can breed your lovely cows or animals, whatever, in a very like a really beautiful farm like this. So why is this intriguing and interesting to us? There are really few slides, so no worries. So initially, Gijs came across this video game, and we were like really amazed by the various ranges of like the not super, but quite realistic models available related with agriculture in this game. Like the game provides all kind of farming tools, tractors, and whatever brands you can think of, like John Deere, New Holland, Case IH, etc. And you can control you can have your tractors running in a really attractive farm scenes, which is something we think like in nowadays the simulators like Gazebo, like VRAP, or Weebots, you don't really have this kind of model because it's really a tedious job to create all the models like this. And it's relatively cheap. So we bought it immediately once we discovered this video game. So what are the advantages of this game, at least for us? First, it's open world simulation. So which means that it's not like a linear game. So you don't really need to follow a storyline. You don't really need to solve a mission. You can just do whatever you want in the farm, which makes things much easier. So yeah. And then the next one is like, it's what I said, it's really quite photorealistic, so which can be a good source for image data collection, like for specific crops or plants. And it can even be used for, like testing machine learning algorithms, etc. And the things that the game provides, like the API, the application programming interface for its game engine, which can be accessed through the Lua script language. So it doesn't matter if you are a modeler or you are just a game interested developer who wants to customize your own model, and you can add some new functionalities or features in the game. Like yesterday, I've just seen that there was like a new GPS system release, and also there was a new like a manure system release. So pretty much like whatever you want to do in the farm, you can do it in this video game. So like our initiative and our motive is to see if we can really use ROS to control the vehicle in the game. So okay, so we thought that it makes sense at least to have a proof of concept that if we can move at least like a tractor in the game using ROS. So I will I will start the video like a small demo of this work. So initially we thought that we can use the name pipes to write data to the game. But however, the game disabled the function of reading from external programs, since this game is it's running in a sandbox, so we cannot really access regular system input and output function. So the only result so far I can find is to read things through like a loading XML file, which is a function provided in the game API. So I use a joystick to control the vehicle, and there are two PCs using this demonstration. One is the remote PC where the Joy node publish outputs of the joystick, and on the local PC there are two nodes, which is these two. I will run again. Anyway, I'll continue. And on local PC there are two nodes, which is these two nodes. One node is to subscribe the joystick state and write the states into a file. And the other is called I name it Odometer Publisher, which is publish the game odometry by reading the odometry data written from the game engine. So that's why we can visualize the odometry message on RVs. So you can see that here this is the map in the game, and this is the visualization on ROS. And the things that I did some, like the transformation things, because the coordinate system in the game is different than the coordinate system in ROS. So there's quite lots of the transformation things here for this kind of thing running here as well. So they have covered everything. Oh, and then how in the game engine side, which is Lua scriptable, it loads in in Lua. It loads the joystick state from the file written by this joystick subscriber node. So that's how I control the steering and the speed of the vehicle according to the file which is written by ROS. Let's say by ROS node. So I think that is pretty much of like it's amusing to see, you know, controlling a game with ROS. So I think that's all of my presentation. Yeah.
Thank you. I have a small question.
Yes.
So, who is the game aimed for or aimed to? Is it
Sorry.
for, who is the game aimed to? Is it made for professional farmers?
No. It's really just no. It's not for. It's for gamer. It's for
Okay.
yeah.
It's meant for.
It's just we think that it can be, you know, like for certain tasks. Like okay, it's not like this is a substitute of any, you know, academic or professional simulation platforms for robotics. Not at all, because it's not compatible with ROS. That's why we didn't write a ROS plugin for this. We need to think in which way we can write a plugin to make it compatible with ROS. But for certain tasks, like for example, like this maybe doesn't have, you know, like a really realistic physics engines, like yeah, like I don't think this game use like a really realistic physics engine. But for certain tasks in robotics, you don't really need like a real physics engine. Like for path planning or navigation, you don't really need. So it just like it will be useful for like I don't know. For me, it's like you can use this for data collection. Like you can have like for feeding the machine learning algorithm, because now the problem of I think in agricultural robotics there's not much data. That is really the biggest problem. So it would be nice that if we can have some, you know, to collect some data from this game. Yeah, it's just this.
Okay.
Yeah, that is our really initial initiative.
Do you want to have more controls than joystick, like a real driver disk and several buttons and all that?
In fact, there are people doing this, but that is for more for the game side. In this game, there are like you said, I have seen a video like people use a wheel to really control this, but that's more, you know, for the, let's say, for the recreation. You definitely can.
It's a software widely used by farmer because they are fan of tractors and all the device. So it's a way for them also to enjoy it. And you know, it's like children having a small model of tractor. It's some kind of, it's part of the philosophy, I would say. So it's not only for gamer, it's for a lot of people.
Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the, yes. You mean for the simulator as well? Oh, really? This, I don't really know. I'm not so experienced. Wait, I'm checking, like Gijs is sent, I didn't, sorry, because there's some conversation going on the chat. So Gijs, good afternoon, microphone isn't working, so I'm going to be silent this meeting almost, but let's keep the Zoom for now. We could, yes, I invited a lot of people. Okay, and that's it. Sorry, I'm checking like what is happening in this chat. So what is the angle? But lots of you can be. Lots of people can be. Okay, I said that lots of people can be gamers. So, yeah. Okay. So, is there any question? If there's no question, we can move on.
I have also one question.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Which topics publish in the ROS?
Which topic? Like the joy, like here, one is called joy, and the other is odometry.
Only odometry and joy?
Yep. Yes.
Okay.
It's really, it's not that sophisticated.
Okay.
Yeah, but the problem is like how do you communicate with the game engine with Lua? So they provide like sort of like API. So there are many functions to control, like in the game that you have to use the steering angle to move to steer the wheels.
Okay, I want to ask another question. Can you simulate the lidar with the game? Because
Yeah,
we
you
want
are
to
talking.
sense, and I see the RVs, but there's any communication about the with game and ROS. I think you have to create a topic with the scan topic and create a range in the game,
Yeah,
and maybe create a lidar and localization.
yeah, for sure. Yes, definitely. Like now the problem is that there's no sensor in this game. There's no sensor at all. So our idea is that we can at least to have a depth camera by hooking the rendering engine of this game and publish like each frame as a RGB or like depth image to ROS. So
okay.
yes,
You are
so,
okay.
but it is the idea. Like there are some like C++ library like provide this kind of function that you hooking the direct 3D codes before sending to the video. I mean to the game.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Wait, Gijs said that in the end, we want to implement a proper ROS control interface and sensors, so we could use ROS navigation stack and sensor processing algorithms. For now, it's really simple. Yes, so that is pretty much I have said. So, does anyone have any other questions? Okay, so if no, then we wait. We can move on to the next item.
Or maybe
sorry?
you could, I think I can do a quick presentation about the dataset.
Sure, if you can, no worries.
Even though I'm probably not the most qualified person to do so.
No, don't say this. It's already qualified because you are here.
Okay, can I share my screen? Is it possible?
Okay, I will stop.
Host disabled participant screen sharing.
You cannot?
No.
Oh, wait, I'll try to make you make host. Okay, I'll make you a host.
Oh, thank you. You
No,
are the
you're a
host
host
now. Welcome to my meeting. So here you should see my screen. So we basically what we wanted to do is to get an idea about what's been available, because that's something we need for any machine learning or similar algorithms. We created a file. We tried to set some norm to write the file in a certain way. So the biggest part of the work was done here, where we have links to databases. And to our surprise, there weren't that many open databases. So you had some like this one, which is it's a challenge called the CLEF challenge. I don't know if you know the application PlantNet. It's an application where you can take a picture of a plant and it will tell you which plant it is. So it's developed by all of these, but mainly in RIA. And they have a data set. So I emailed them to get the data set and they sent me this link. So that's basically what we do in the file, which if you are interested, I highly recommend having a look into. So if you go to this one, you can get, I think they have more than 40 gigabytes of data. And you have other resources as well. the University of Bonn in Germany did a great job of gathering some data and making it publicly available. They have pictures of crops taken from top to bottom view, and of beets and other plants. I don't know if it's interesting for you to go through these links. I don't think so, and I don't know half of them. But that's what we did, and that's what we still do. We had a participation from an American university that had a database which was not available, I think, and they made it available for this because they found a way to share it. So if you know any, or if you want to participate and finish or take part in this, feel free. I guess that's it.
Yes, Luke, he commented on the chat. He said that could you please share this data set page?
Yes, of course.
Maybe you can share. I don't know. You can send it to me, and I will write the minutes for it so people can.
Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. I will do that.
So does anyone have any question about? I mean, sorry, I'm not really in this working group, but if anyone has any questions regarding this, you can ask. I guess Elias can answer for you, right? I mean, at least to know this, just this current status is fine. We are not asking any, like amazing progress here.
I have not really a question, but I think I have colleagues that could be interested in that kind of stuff. And it's a question you have a lot of time. And we are building also IoT sensor for agriculture. And the idea would be to share open data of those sensor, but it will take times.
That's actually very good. That was the goal. The goal is to centralize all of this data, because even if it's available, if no one knows about it, it's a bit useless. So that would be very cool if you could add your data, or if they could also profit as well. I remembered something we worked on also. So after gathering the data, you need to process it. This takes a lot of time, and what we thought was that it would be great if we could, so let's say image segmentation, to segment the images in one format, so that everyone agrees on the format and we don't have to redo the work if you have another, like not everyone with his own format. And also, to our surprise, there are some standards, but there aren't any very standardized tools. And that's something, I don't know if we've added it here, but that will be also added here, so that when we process or label the data, we will all do it in the same way, and not just everyone goes in its own direction. Okay, if you don't have any more questions.
So yes, Gijs has a question for you. Yes, he asks, are there already any common annotations being used, or is everyone using something else?
So from what I've seen, there is the, how is it called? We've talked about it in our tutorial. There is a common segmentation method. It's a file format. It's a JSON file format that is the standard. I think it's like an informal standard, because Facebook did a lot of work on it, open sourced their work, and everyone just adopted it. But there aren't any useful tools that are very easy to use and output this format, at least not that I know of. So the format does exist, which is unofficially the standard, but the tools to get to it are more of a manual thing to do. Voilà.
He asked, sorry, Ghai says nothing agriculture specific then? Like this is
No.
not only for...
Not that I know of, at least. No.
Okay. He say thanks.
You're welcome. Is there a way to get back to the normal Zoom unlocked?
I don't know, you sort of mess up with my system. I don't know how to...
Okay, I got back to...
Okay, perfect.
How do I name you a host back?
No,
Or
don't worry, I'm
also
still a host. I think I'm a
Okay,
host all the time. Okay, so that is the current status of our, let's say, dataset working group. And the next item, oh wait, am I sharing my
No.
screen? No. Okay. Oh yeah, Elias, you have to make me host again.
Okay, make host.
Thank you.
Done.
Thank you. Okay, so the next item will be the ideas on how to get students involved in ROS Agriculture Europe. So again, Elias, maybe it would be nice for you to talk about what you think.
Yes, I actually had one precise idea in mind. So last semester, so I'm in my last master semester, I worked on a project, on a university project where we basically had 1 month, more or less, of full time to work on a project that either our teachers worked on or that we could submit. And in our case, we worked on an autonomous boat. And I thought that we could do that for ROS Agriculture. I emailed one of my teachers about this, and he was happy about it. He saw it as a positive thing. So I emailed Matt, so the main ROS, or I think he's the main ROS, or at least he started the ROS project in the US. But I think we could also do something more local because we get physical proximity. So that was the main idea. We could try to see all around Europe if there are universities, maybe, I don't know, in my case it's a robotic master, but robotics, electrical engineering, control engineering are interested in this and have small projects that will be the same from a year to another. By that I mean so that the student can make the project evolve and not reinvent the wheel every time. And for this, we need some kind of organization to keep the hardware and to track the documentation and to give it back and to submit it to new students and voila. I don't know if you have other questions or if you have experience on this.
I personally don't have any experience on this, but I mean, it's really a great idea, but I think it would be difficult in this situation, to really, to have the actual event together nowadays, because of the coronavirus situation. So it would probably make more sense to, to have more like a web-based event, like what you suggested before, like like a web hackathon, something like that.
But in this case, at least in the case of my university, for example, that's a project that usually takes place in January. So it would be preparing it for next January. And it needs some preparation because it's a university project. I mean, students need to learn something, so we cannot just tell them, hey, we have this project, would you be part of it? But we have this project where we want you to do this, this, and this, or this, this, and this. And then they would come up with solutions and work on it.
Yeah, I have one question. So what you suggested was to kind of, I mean, how is the what's your idea how it should work? One university with another, should they have their own like tasks to given to the students, or is it more something universities talked and agree on one like things they want to do together? Or can you, maybe I missed this part.
So that's actually a good question. One thing we could do is, for example, have a list of tasks we can submit to universities. For example, have a speed control, I just made this up, but a speed control algorithm and a path planning algorithm, and separate this in tasks that students can do in 1 month or maybe 1 week or whatever. And then we could ask universities if they're interested, and if they are interested, we could just submit, like send them the problem to solve with the hardware. That would be the interesting part, and that would be where we come in. So with the hardware, and then when the student finish working on it, so of course in the requirement there will be the documentation. We will get back everything, and next year we will update the list of things to do and give back the hardware and the documentation to the new student, even maybe from another university, so that they can work on different tasks with the same hardware.
And how about to organize all this in the form of a challenge? Like you provide the platform, provide some kind of data pool for these, and some tasks in different many challenges, and where different universities could probably take part, and at the end you need to provide some results, some ideas to solve the problem.
That doesn't one doesn't exclude the other. Having a challenge is possible, and I think that the next ideas for small pilot, no, maybe possible events, sorry. So that's definitely doable, but having a challenge is asking students to get involved in an extracurriculum project, which is a nice thing, but that's something different from giving them something to do in their curriculum. So I don't like this word, but profit from their curriculum, and they profit as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. Someone was trying to speak. Yeah, Elias, yes, Gijs suggested that it would be great. It would be better that you wrote this down. You write this down on ROS Discourse to draw more attention.
Okay, that's a good idea. I will not.
Yeah, to get some discussion started. I think that lots of people, like really ROS people, browsing this discourse almost every day. So you'll be a good place to start.
Oh, but as a whole, what do you think about it? Because I mean, if we want to put it in place.
Oh yeah. About this, I cannot promise you anything, because in fact, I will not be probably I will not be working in Netherlands for the next year. Like I only have a contract for 14 months, so I don't even know if I will be holding this meeting for the next year.
Okay.
But it seems like a good idea. Yeah.
Okay, we don't have any other institutional participants.
From Netherlands, I think the things that you see, people they go guys, people go and people leave. Like really, we need someone who is more enthusiastic than just a place you want to go or you want to live. Otherwise, it's this community. It's really hard to continue if there are no enthusiastic people. Yeah, it just some of my like I wouldn't say complaints, but it's really true. Okay, I said that logistically there may be some challenges, but the idea is interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, like I shared a link with you that there's a hackathon was supposed to take place, like I think last week in TU Delft. It's about prototyping an autonomous robot to harvest a crop. But now again, the coronavirus holds up every event in Netherlands until September, so there won't be any event here.
There is one event that exists in France. It's organized by Arvalis each year, and it's robotic for agriculture. I think it's open to any university, and but there you have to have a real robot doing certain task, and it's judged, and you win a prize, and you are in competition with other groups. And in the case of AgriLab, we did it 3 years ago. The students have to share everything in open source. So the year after that, other students, because students finish and get out, other students get inspired by the documentation, make a second version, and then the year after they make a third version. So that could be you could participate, I think, in those kind of contests.
Could you share the link regarding this?
I don't find it, but I can send you the first year documentation of our student, but it's in French because in France, no. So
dat possible.
Ja, ik kan ook Nederlands praten, maar
I don't speak Dutch.
Oké, sorry. Maar
Sorry.
ja, niemand is meertalig hier. So not a lot of people are multilingual. So I can share you the link of the first year.
Okay.
So it's French, and you have many things. It's not ROS, as I said. We are not fully in that, but it's open source. So maybe later we will try to convince students that ROS is a good idea, of course. So there are already contests existing. So I don't know, maybe you can try to integrate inside.
Maybe transfer in a more ROS, let's say ROS way, could be. Because
it's also a good way to say that ROS is interesting to people that are not maybe aware of it.
Yeah, it's in actually I didn't expect that. I thought that most of the people who are like doing robotics, that they all know ROS. So apparently it's not the case. So
but I think sorry.
Yeah.
In this case, they don't have a robotics background, from what I've understood.
Yeah, and that's why they win. Because it's that's a trick. Here we have field all around. So and they are most of the time they are children of farmer. So they don't need to have explanation of what is a vegetable, and they don't. No, that you will be surprised. I've seen robotic schools coming on the ground and saying it's full of green. My system would not recognize stuff because it decided that this algorithm was to detect green color somewhere. Of course, this won't happen with agriculture students. They will have maybe no knowledge of artificial intelligence or stuff like that, but they will find extremely simple and really efficient solution that you will not imagine. And that's the case for the first robots.
But yeah, but that would be the things will be even better if both of them can meet together.
Yes.
Then
I
the idea
think-
and the solution will be much better, and you know, in
Yeah,
terms
yeah.
of in agronomy and also in robotics.
That would be the perfect match.
Yeah. Cool. Merci. So yeah, so where were we? Okay. Oh yeah. So wait, I'm checking. We only have 7 minutes left because I don't want to let everyone leave late. So the next, let's say next item will be ideas for small pilot projects. Like now we have dataset working progress. I mean the dataset working group, and then we were thinking about to have like another working group, like I don't know, co-navigation or multi-vehicle navigation. Like, but the things that we need people like to really start to really initiate this group. Does anyone have any opinion on like what kind of like the goal or objectives that we can come up first, you know, to start a little bit further than, you know, thinking insights?
I guess, do we have to limit ourselves to software
You mean
project?
not just not necessary? I mean, but anything with ROS is not necessarily software. Like it can be hardware. You can write a driver, or I don't know. But it has to be related with ROS. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this category. ROS agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
It would be agriculture. I don't know. Another thing.
I mean, we Nishant and I worked on the segmentation algorithm. Of course, there's a lot of work to be done there. But that's something, if Nishant is still and if others want to join as well, something that could be a project, an interesting one at least, I think.
In the segmentation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm speaking. I mean, I if I have time, I would like to enjoy. I mean, I would like to participate in all the working group. But the things are the reality is that I don't have enough of time. Like I have another European deliverable to finish these days.
Mm-hmm.
But if I have time, I'll try to join the. I'm quite interested into the segmentation part, like the computer vision or this kind of thing. So just you can save my name later on.
Okay.
Yeah, you can always mail me. Don't worry. Like nowadays, I'm quite busy with other things. But yes, again, it's a call for anyone who really want this community, you know, grow, or that otherwise it's just me again holding this meeting and meeting new people and see all people leave.
For me, it works if it's like a once in a month thing because I'm currently doing my master project, so it's a lot of work already. So I don't want to overburden and underdeliver. So if it's like a once in a month thing, then I would be happy to participate.
It's a one in a month thing.
Yeah.
It is always. Wait, can I say another thing? What sort of functionality we are missing in raw software in agriculture? That's what he said. Not really advanced stuff, but more lower level functionality. So it's not necessary, you know, to think like like because Elias, you were concerning that it has to be software. No, it's not necessary, but the more lower level, it's also doable. Drivers, navigation, algorithms, interfaces. That's what I said. Yeah, like drivers is not necessary software. So even algorithm, like navigation algorithm, but more specific in the agriculture field. Because agricultural, I mean, like I'm not an expert on agricultural robotics, but I think that in agricultural robotics, like the environment is usually, you know, more unstructured, which is much more difficult than the case like in industrial. So you have to consider like the weather or whatever, like lots of like factors that you cannot predict. Wait. Kai said that, do we have a simulation set up which is representative for real world agriculture, which can be shared among all participants? Perhaps that could be something to work on. So again, yes, about we leads back to the topic about simulation. So because simulation, in a sense, is more, I would say it's a good way to start to test like if our algorithms, you know, is working, everything. So we need a simulation at least in the beginning. Otherwise, it's really difficult to set up in the real world with all the hardwares. So do we? I mean, I don't know. In Gazebo, do we have all this kind of thing? Does anyone know? I don't think. I could barely find any like simulation models in Gazebo. Like no one is doing this.
I think it's impossible. You would have to integrate real weather everywhere, and there are too many stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
I have got one question. So if I got it correctly, the data set is actually somewhere a real world data set, right?
Yes.
And so if we this kind of computer vision is achieved with this real data, the real world data, and then the testing should first of all be done on the simulation somehow, or how is the connection between these both there?
Can I answer? Does someone want to answer? Actually, that's a big problem we have, or at least the other robotic ROS-A has. First, they don't have as much data as they want, real life data, and even if you had real life data, it takes a lot of time and labor to label everything. So they were thinking about a way of generating data from a simulation, and then to find a way to go from this simulation data to real life data without the algorithm
that's a good idea.
Stopping. Yes, so that's a big challenge.
That's a quite good idea. I mean, it's not that I never tried that, but in my imagination it's not that difficult to actually somehow do the transition. It's just kind of a domain domain transfer topic on the computer vision part. So that's a quite good idea to bridge these two words.
Idea project.
I can give one advice about this simulation environment. If you know the Unity is a game developer engine. You can create everything in there, and it's a real geometry and real physics law. This includes, and this also programming with the C#. And also I know ROS2 using the C#. You can create some topics, and you can send the data into that simulation. It is not very complicated than the gazebo. I think this can be used for the projects. I'm thinking also for our projects for this method, because the everyone don't has the Ubuntu and the Linux version, and Windows can easily, because every computer installed the Windows, and ROS2 also use the Windows. Unity maybe can usable for this project.
Hello?
For the simulation.
Yes. I said that this other. You mean okay? Sorry, he's writing me. There's a whole field of computer vision machine learning with these simulators. Yes, he said Unity is also used for this. Okay, he's a good idea. Thank you for sharing. I didn't know about this.
Game engine is very performance for these topics. I think it can be usable because Gazebo is, I think it's very complicated than the for the some projects, and you cannot create some mount and do some things. But in the Unity, it's very easy. You can create every model, and one you can detect everything with the camera. I think usable.
Yeah, thank you. I will look it up later because I personally don't really know about this. But would you please, maybe you can share the link to the group, maybe, like regarding what you are saying.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much.
You're
And
welcome.
yeah, because it's we're running out of time, and we almost, I think we already covered most of the topics, and it's quite I mean, there are lots of information and like new topics coming up. But the things that the most important things are, if you have any ideas or any whatever, if even not just the idea, just any comments, just post it on Rusty Sports to let people see, so we can draw more people and more attention, so that the community can keep going. And well, yes, so thank you everyone for joining, and that's pretty much the end of the day, and also the end of the meeting.
Sorry, can I
Yeah,
say
sure. Sorry.
too? So just for the ones that are not used to come here, usually we have some regular participant from different backgrounds. So it's not every meeting new persons. Yeah, that was it. That was the only thing I wanted to say.
Sorry, I didn't hear. What do you say?
So I just said that we also have, or at least we had until now, a regular participant.
True.
And they're not in
yeah,
every
usually
meeting.
Sorry everyone, yes, that's true. Usually we have more than 2 people. Like Gijs, he's really a core member, I would say. He knows lots of things. And there's other, like Pedro.
Mm-hmm.
He's also working in, let's say he's a leader of dataset working group. So don't think that we only have like 2 people here. We do have people. It's just because the coronavirus situation, I don't know what is happening right now. So I couldn't contact them. So I just hope they're all safe and sound. Yeah. So we do have people. Yeah, that's my point. And thank you, Elias, for pointing this out.
Okay.
Okay, then that's it. Thank you for everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.